Welcome to the Mental Health and You podcast. This podcast brings you information and advice from across the Norfolk and Suffolk NHS Foundation Trust, with a range of teams, services and those who use them sharing their experiences and wisdom with us every fortnight.
So welcome. Hi, I'm Sophie.
And I'm Annabelle.
We are really pleased to introduce our podcast about the Safewards Quality Improvement Collaborative at Norfolk and Suffolk NHS Foundation Trust.
This is a 12-month collaborative which includes all 29 inpatient wards in NSFT, covering Norfolk and Suffolk, and including adult acute services, psychiatric intensive care wards, later life services, forensic services, our Tier 4 CAMS, which is young people ward called Dragonfly, the Kingfisher Mother and Baby Unit, and Rehabilitation Ward, and Learning Disabilities and or Autism inpatient wards.
We are really lucky to have some of the people who have been real drivers of this work with us to talk about everything that has been happening and the things that are yet to come. These people include clinicians from across some of our inpatient areas and people with lived experience of inpatient care. All people have worked together as equals to provide a whole combined knowledge, understanding and skill base to promote real and sustainable changes on our wards through the implementation and embedding of the Safewards model. Handing over to you all to introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Annabelle. I have lived experience in mental health from CAMS to adult services, including 7 years as an inpatient across PQ, secure services, acute services, rehabilitation, and now in 24/7 care in my own home. I'm on the autistic spectrum, so can give different perspectives on care. I've been involved in volunteering with the NSFT for a while, but specifically Safewards for the last few months, where I have enjoyed helping to improve services, which is my passion.
Hi, my name is Lorraine. I work on Avocet Ward, which is a female acute ward. I've been here for about 8-9 years. Before that, I worked in youth ministry. That's me.
Hi, my name is Dr. Sophie Bagg and I am a lived experience lead for the Model of Care and Model of Care Plus programme at NSFT. I have my own lived experience of inpatient services and work alongside Chelsea Davis as the overall leads for this project.
Hi, my name's Rachel Grand and I'm an occupational therapist with our Tier 4 CAMS setting, the Dragonfly unit. My experience over the last 2 years has been within acute care with both adults and now young people. I've been working closely with Amber Platten, who is one of our charge nurses, and Megan Leversley, our occupational therapy student, but unfortunately they couldn't be a part of the podcast today.
Hi, I'm Holly and I've got lived experience on CAMS, secure services and adult inpatient wards. I'm now in supported living and I've been involved with Safewards since day one and a few other projects in the trust. I'm really keen to help improve the services and give a valuable insight to how living in these types of settings can affect the patients before and after their hospital admissions.
Hello, my name is Tobias. I have lived experience in mental health and I have been diagnosed a long time ago with schizoaffective disorder. And I am using my experience to help improve the mental health system and help people with similar conditions to mine.
Hello, I am Chelsea Davies. I'm the lead for restrictive interventions for Norfolk and Suffolk Foundation Trust. I support clinical areas in reducing restrictive practices and improve services and safety in clinical areas. I'm a mental health nurse by background and I have experience in lots of different areas, including later life, secure services, adult acute, including psychiatric intensive care units and rehabilitation services.
Hello, I'm Frances Turner and I, for the last 6 months, have been the occupational therapist on Avocet Ward within Woodlands.
Hi there, I'm Mike Seaman. I'm Director of Nursing here at NSFT. I've done nursing most of my adult life. I trained and qualified 24 years ago. The vast majority of my experience has been inpatient. Probably the most challenging but most rewarding role I ever did was a ward manager.
Hi, my name's Jessie Kelly. I am the occupational therapist on the Kingfisher Mother and Baby Unit. I qualified 15 years ago and have spent my whole time working as a mental health occupational therapist between inpatient, medium secure forensics, community perinatal, and then helped with the transition to opening the ward and setting that up as well for the Mother and Baby Unit.
That's amazing. Thanks, everybody. So as a bit of an introduction to the Safewards work stream, it's part of a large programme of work happening in NSFT called Model of Care and Model of Care Plus. As a brief overview, the Model of Care is like a guidebook for how we provide high quality, safe care and treatment at NSFT, and to improve the experiences of service users, carers and staff. It's an overarching strategy that's being used across the Trust to create consistent policies and procedures. Think of it as our roadmap for the next 5 years, helping us learn and improve as we go. This model is based on legal requirements, national laws, NHS policies and best practices. It's been successful in other places, and Professor Harry Kennedy, a mental health expert, has helped bring it to NSFT. The goal is to standardise our services so everyone gets the same care no matter where they are. It's about improving quality, safety and the experiences of patients, carers and staff. NSFT's model of care has 4 main parts: goals, evidence-based clinical pathways and processes, treatments and evaluation. The model tells us how to provide care, what treatments to use and how to check if we're doing well. It ensures that everyone gets the right care at the right time and in the right way. It's all about making sure we follow best practices for the better health outcomes for each person. Model of Care Plus is focused on our inpatient areas and on the improvements and transformation of inpatient care and treatment across all 29 NSFT inpatient wards.
Every day we all work to provide people with high quality, safe care and treatment on our inpatient wards. One of the ways we can support safety for everyone is by working to reduce conflict, which may include things like self-harm, leaving the ward without notice, verbal and physical aggression, amongst other things. And also by reducing containment. These are methods sometimes used in inpatient wards to try and reduce conflict. Containment may also be referred to as restrictive interventions. These may include things like one-off doses of medication or closer therapeutic observations, again, amongst other things. Safewards is a model developed through extensive research which supports a reduction in both conflict and containment on inpatient mental health wards. As mentioned, the Safewards model was developed through extensive research, and since its development, there have been many studies exploring this. The Safewards model outlines 10 key interventions which can be implemented and embedded onto wards. If people are interested, they can Google the word Safewards, and this will direct people to a site with much more detailed information. However, Holly has been phenomenal in leading parts of our trust-wide in-person sessions. More about these in a bit. Holly has been delivering content and facilitating discussions between attendees and has become somewhat a resident expert in the 10 key interventions. So I'll hand over to her to provide an introduction and brief overview of each of the 10 interventions.
Thank you for that, Frances, and I've really enjoyed learning about them. The 10 interventions are 10 carefully thought out measures to reduce rates of conflict, restraint and self-harm within inpatient settings. The first one is calm down methods. It's not the best worded term. Being told to calm down to me doesn't really feel like the most appropriate term, but it's still one of the most important interventions. This includes using alternatives patients should use to de-escalate rather than going straight to PRN medication. Personally, for me, my self-soothe box is one of my top favourites. I've got my fidget things, my temporary tattoos, my quotes and other items to distract me. I've also got my scrapbook, which has kind notes people have written for me. And actually, they're a nice reminder that a lot of people do care and a lot of people are there for me and are rooting for me to recover. But the main part of this one intervention is solely PRN should always be used as a last resort and was often overused in some of my previous admissions. Secondly, there's mutual help meetings, which is a voluntary meeting, but still a meeting everyone, the staff and the patient, should be encouraged to go to talk about plans, recent events and good work people have done. It's so important to keep everyone in the loop and praise people and show you appreciate their hard work so they can continue doing so. And then the third one, we've got bad news mitigation, which includes understanding and sort of acknowledging the stress patients could have after receiving bad news. It's important to highlight, it might not seem like the worst news to you, but to the person it is a big thing. These could be examples like no leave, changes to the ward, no visitors, or outcomes in ward rounds. It can be a really hard thing to deal with when you've had all your rights taken away. I feel like you're left in quite a vulnerable position when you're told no. So it's the measures that you can put into place to support them after, whether that's a one-to-one, extra checks, or anything else which might be beneficial depending on that person's needs. And then the fourth one is reassurance, which is quite similar in ways. It aims to reduce the stress from any incidents or difficult event that has happened on the ward. One example could be seeing a friend or someone you know getting restrained, which can be quite distressing to see, and it's about helping support them after with their emotions. I think it's also important to highlight with this intervention that incidents can take toll on the staff too. I mean, we are all human and we all do have feelings. It's just about putting in those measures to give them the best support as possible. And then the fifth one, halfway through, is discharge messages. These are positive messages patients will write at the end of their admission and things they found helpful and advice for people who have never, or new admissions who have never been on a ward before. I know a lot of the wards have done discharge message trees, and actually these can be really beneficial for those who have never been on the ward and can be very helpful and welcoming to receive such good advice from some of the past patients. And the sixth intervention is soft words. Using soft words is aiming to avoid any confrontations and to work together collaboratively. It's important to be mindful of the audience you're talking to, whether that's the carers, under 18s, the elderly, or maybe someone who presents with autism. It's important to adapt to them, to how you're saying things, and remain in a kind and respectable way. This might include encouraging them to eat, drink, get dressed, shower, take prescribed medication, but in a way that isn't insensitive. This could also be used to diffuse arguments on the ward, and it's important to remain respectful and polite and show genuine empathetic respect. And don't say something will happen when there's a chance that it might not. Just be honest, be mindful, and don't give them false hope. The seventh intervention is talk down, which is very similar in ways. If someone is distressed, it's important to take the correct measures to help them de-escalate, respect and show empathy, and remain open. This intervention aims to reduce violence and agitation or any incidents. And think, if this was you, how would you want the professionals to talk to you? And making sure to remain a safe environment and adequate support is being given. The next intervention is knowing each other. So this could be sharing interests like hobbies and things you like in order to sort of build a rapport and conversation topics. Personally, for me, this is a really important intervention, as new people can be scary in a whole new environment. And it doesn't have to be personal topics, just light topics, which make it easier to communicate with one another. Some wards are making get to know you boards, which I think could be really beneficial. And then we've got clear mutual expectations, which are the expectations staff and patients have of each other. And these should be displayed, for example, as a poster and reminded of regularly to avoid any conflict or arguments. And then lastly, there's positive words. So this includes, instead of listing all the bad things in handovers, ward rounds, it's important to highlight the positives as well. And it puts staff in a good headspace. You're not going to want to go onto a ward when you've been told all these awful incidents that has happened. You're going to be put in a horrible mindset. You're more likely to want to work and be motivated if you're given all of like other things like leave or activities they've been doing or the visits that they had today. And also in the ward rounds, it's important to let the patients know we recognise the things that they have done well, despite all. If something bad has happened, we need to let them know that we are acknowledging the positive aspects as well as the maybe not so good ones. And those are all the interventions. Please do let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer any of them.
Holly, that was fantastic. Thank you ever so much. That was so much really good information. So now it would be good to think about how we as a trust have been implementing this and these 10 key interventions across the whole 29 wards, because that's a lot of wards to kind of get that out across. Mike, as our Director of Nursing across Norfolk and Waveney, could you please tell us a little bit about why we're doing this and why we're doing it now?
Of course, I guess firstly, it's really the right thing to do. So Safeward, as we've heard already, it's tried and tested, so it's evidence-based. And its approach really is about maximising safety through engagement, knowledge and understanding. So why now? Well, wards and in particular bed numbers have reduced significantly over time. And that's not just within our own trust, that's nationally as well. And I guess that's led to changes in commissioning and emphasis, quite rightly so, being focused on care provision in the community. So we've seen early intervention happening, we've seen low to moderate levels of intervention, psychological interventions happening, and these are all really good things. However, what that means with a reduced bed stock is that we find our inpatient areas completely full and they're often pressured. So what does that mean? Well, actually, mental health beds are then utilised often when someone is at their most vulnerable, often presenting with a high level of need, feeling quite unsafe, and often they're there against their will. So that level of complexity and need is much, much higher than it's ever been before. So in order to improve that and the outcomes for patients, we have to change our approach to care, being much more holistic, psychosocial kind of interventions, and therefore we need to make every contact that we have with somebody count. So how can we achieve this in such a hectic and often unpredictable environment? Well, we can do this by introducing methods that seek to improve our relationships with people. So ways to break down our divides and encourage trust and rapport. So Safewards, and we've heard from Holly, all of those 10 interventions enables us to have a much clearer operational clinical model, or as we are calling it, model of care, and have that approach to inpatient provision in these ever-changing times. So I'm going to just hand over to Chelsea, who's going to be talking to us a bit more about the collaborative and its approach.
Thanks, Mike. So this collaborative has been developed using quality improvement methodology. The reason that we have been using this approach is because working within the NHS, it's very complex. There's lots of systems and it's not what it seems first on face value. Otherwise, we would just simply say embed these 10 Safewards interventions on your ward and it would work. By really looking at different wards and different services so that we can understand the challenges and obviously the service needs, offering quality improvement tools and approaches such as plan, do, study, act, or you may hear people say PDSA. So introducing change ideas, making sure that we try these out, truly understanding the impact that they've had by studying them, and then acting on what we have as a result. So whether this has worked well, not so well, and what we can do next. Although we have been looking at quantitative data, being numbers, in this case provided by Datexes, which is our incident reporting system. So we look at incidents of aggression, self-harm, etc. on each of our wards to see what we can do to reduce these as the collaborative progresses. We are also hugely interested in the qualitative data. This is rich data that tells the stories, which is really meaningful and actually why we're in work today. Several of our wards have introduced some brilliant methods to capture these thoughts, ideas, opinions of our service users, carers and staff through away days, interviews and surveys that have been use not only to inform the way that we create our change ideas, but also help to motivate our teams. We have some fantastic photos of the discharge trees and messages of hope painted by both service users and staff, and some really amazing get to know me boards and some great examples of mutual help meetings, which some have been running as breakfast sessions. And we would really love to come and visit the wards to obviously see someone, but obviously enjoy the chocolate pancakes because they sound amazing too. I don't know what you think about that idea, Annabelle.
It is great. Motivation with food is always great. How can we get chicken nuggets? They are Holly's favourite.
Sophie, I'm sure you've got something to say about the food and the chicken nuggets that have kind of been happening around the wards and in all the different places right now.
Oh my goodness, I have. Thank you, Jess. And thank you to Annabelle. I can highly recommend the pancakes. We'll have to work on getting the chicken nuggets and getting some orange juice as well, Annabelle, which is your favourite. And thank you to Chelsea. Big shout out to Great Yarmouth Acute Ward for their great daily mutual help meetings. The Safewards QI Collaborative is the largest QI collaborative our trust has undertaken so far, and it has involved a lot of work from a lot of people. Big thanks to everyone involved. We have a trust-wide core group and leads for all the wards. Really importantly, we have lots of co-productive working with people with lived experience. And another shout out this time to Whitlingham Ward, who have led the way with this. I believe this is a real strength of the approach taken and is the crowning jewel in the collaborative as we have come together as people and as equals. Jess, as an occupational therapist on the Kingfisher Mother and Baby Unit, could you tell us a bit more about your experiences of the collaboration, both at the in-person sessions, but also importantly, how has this been translated onto your ward with both patients, family members, carers and staff?
Yeah, of course I can, Sophie. So I was adopted into the lead part of the lead team for the Safe Wards on my ward on the second session. So going down to the in-person sessions that have kind of been run across all of the wards has been great, and I think the commitment by NSFT and all of the wards there has been really inspiring. One of the things that I found most useful about that collaborative is thinking about our successes and challenges as different teams, seeing in ways that some people have kind of managed to progress things forward and ways that perhaps others might have found it a bit more tricky. It's been motivational and inspiring, and I think more than anything, having that regular meetup has really helped to continue to drive this project forward. And one of the things that I think is so brilliant is the fact that in everything we do, it really is about kind of having those service user needs right at the very center of it, and that comes through, and it's so incredible with how much experience that we've kind of got in the rooms. So I think thinking about it in other things as well, if we hadn't got the in-person sessions, I would never have found out about slingshot dinosaurs, which have been very revelationary, and added those into our calm down boxes. On a more ward-based level though, I think all of the wards have been really striving to get everyone involved, so thinking about all of those staff and all of the service users on the ward and making sure that it's really coming down from the kind of top to the bottom to the top, and that it's that real collaboration. On the MBU, we've implemented a coffee and catch-up session following kind of the in-person sessions that we run, and that's really thinking about how can we update and keep this information embedded. So we also need to think about the fact that there are realities and limitations on wards. So we run these in the nursing station office, and people can kind of just drop in, whether that is kind of the cleaners on the ward or the chef in the kitchen or the doctors or anyone who's about. I have the great pleasure of running Thursday mornings mutual help, which I'm sure you will all be very pleased to know includes fresh little bakery breakfast, and I am even on first name basis with the lady at the till on a Thursday morning now. And so we go through every week any updates for the safe wards, thinking about kind of the 10 interventions, and if there's any one that we're specifically working on. We'll share the PDSA cycles and get kind of mum's opinion and moving them forward. We also have very kind managers that let us have some budget to run special family and friends events. So that looks at getting everyone involved. So we've had alpacas, we've had a guinea pig cafe, we've had afternoon teas. And one of the things that I think is really kind of special about the mother and baby unit is that, so although we've got the mums as our service unit, we've also got babies there. And a lot of those people have got older children at home. And they've really said that it's helped in terms of demystifying that environment for the older children, and it's made them realise that where mummy isn't potentially scary. And it's also helped, you know, that relaxed environment. It's helped us to kind of get to know each other better. We also make sure that if staff are kind of coming in, whether they might be helping someone on OBS or just kind of staff involved in running the sessions, that we all get involved and we're all doing it together. So really thinking about that, we are all humans, you know, whether that is kind of staff, service users, it doesn't matter. And thinking about working on those getting to knows. So we have a folder in our office that can kind of be helped, so people can add into it. They can see where we're at with our PDSA cycles. The mums can look at it. And I think it's just kind of really helped. One of my favourite things that has kind of happened, and this still gives me goosebumps when I talk about it, is we have got a beautiful canvas at the reception for the MBU. And this was painted by 3 of our ladies who were on the ward a little while ago. And it was their version of a discharge message. And it's really inspiring because they've painted their journey as kind of like a sunset, going from a dark sky to a brighter sky, with a mum holding up her baby. And I think that picture really paints 1,000 words, and it's really empowering for kind of people to come in and see that. I think it's also really important, though, for us to hear a bit more from our experts by experience. Annabelle's with us today, and she's been instrumental in supporting the in-person sessions with our wards and with our lived experience colleagues. Annabelle, what do you think the benefits of implementing the Safer Wards at NSFT will be?
Well, obviously the primary thing will be that Safe Wards will support people on our wards to feel and be safer. This is also true for the staff on the wards. The fact that this has been developed through collaborative working means that the way the interventions are being delivered on wards will be the best it can be, because we have all involved, patients, carers and staff together. My favourite intervention is the mutual help meetings, as this gives a space for both patients and staff to have views in a safe and respectful manner and plan the day ahead so everyone knows their needs are met.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. This is really helpful to understand all that's going on. So Lorraine and Francis, you work in an adult acute ward. Could you tell us a bit more about the benefits of the Safe Wards QI collaborative so far for you guys?
Yeah, sure. Overall, I think the Safe Wards promotes a culture of safety and respect and collaboration within the psychiatric setting. It benefits both the patients and staff. I think Safe Wards encourages staff from different disciplines as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And together as a team, we can implement strategies for preventing the management challenges behaviour. It also enables patients and staff. It gives a really good partnership because the patients really take, or the service users really take a role, don't they, in having a direct impact or affecting their care plans. So I think it's brilliant. It creates an empathetic community, doesn't it?
It does, a very empathetic community. One of the things I found really beneficial as well is with the interventions, especially like the Get to Know Me session, which I do on a Monday morning, it gets all the service users engaging on more personal level. And also as staff, we can say what our favourite TV shows are, and it creates just that kind of nice therapeutic environment. And with that, I noticed that the ward activities after, such as the walks and other things, the engagement level really went up, because what happened was different service users were encouraging others, saying, no, you've got to come on the walk as well, it'll be fun. And yeah, the engagement really went high.
Yeah, but it builds trust.
Yeah,
and
does.
Rapport, and trust and rapport are really important. And it does that through consistent and respectful interactions. Staff members build trust and rapport with our service users and vice versa, and it creates a supporting and therapeutic environment. And also our patients feel more comfortable expressing their concerns, sharing their experiences and participating in their treatment. And you know, they trust staff more, don't they?
They do, definitely. Like the engagement with staff in like sessions. I noticed my OT sessions as well. I was getting more engagement. Yeah, really good.
You know, promoting a culture in inclusivity.
Yes,
that's the word.
that is the word.
It's not the word that slips off my tongue readily, but that is a word. It values diversity, and it recognises the unique needs and experiences of everyone. You know, we all have needs, and we all have our own experience, and it's, you know, creating very much a holistic approach. And it embraces diversity, and it really does, which I found very heartwarming. It respects our differences, and yeah, within our psychiatric community, it's great.
I think Lorraine and Francis have hit the nail on the head there for me, really. Seeing clinicians from different professions and experiences in different areas working alongside our expert by experiences, and everyone coming together and embracing the challenge has really been inspirational. And on top of that, each clinical team has recognised that actually this quality improvement needs buy-in from everyone on the ward. It needs to be a culture change. So acknowledging that and asking for help has been really, really positive. Lots of teams have reached out to ask for further support and make sure that support's personalised to their clinical area from the core team. So lots of us have been attending the wards and speaking to service users and staff, reviewing notice boards that have all our information about safe wards, looking at notes like from mutual expectations and our mutual help meetings, reviewing plan, do, study, act cycles, and even having a play in the calm down or sensory boxes, which you would struggle to keep me and Sophie away from. We love having a look through those and what's in each and every different box. It's been a privilege, though, to be welcomed into teams across the trust. Myself and Sophie have also been invited to a number of team meetings and away days, which has allowed us to connect with wider teams and adapt sessions dependent on service needs. By meeting all of the team, it's allowed the Safe Wards leads to offer further support and to motivate and improve the knowledge within the teams, obviously including fueling those hungry clinicians with biscuits too. Sorry, Annabelle, no chicken nuggets on this occasion. Teams surprise themselves with their knowledge and their creativity as we allow for an open space to discuss how the 10 Safe Wards interventions can be embedded within practice. We fuel the minds and the team create the art, and it's really incredible to watch and listen. More recently, with the acknowledgement that we are halfway through our project, we would like to identify areas that may require further support and to celebrate the little wins within each and every one of the teams so far. Our amazing Sophie has adapted a Safe Wards fidelity checklist, and this ensures that Safe Wards interventions have been truly understood and embedded within practice by providing assurance and assessment with the core team. And this is not a test, but a supportive measure, because we don't want to lose the purpose of Safe Wards and what it was invented for. I don't know, Holly, if you want to tell us a bit more about the co-production with Expert by Experience with this.
Yes, of course. Thank you for that, Chelsea. First, I'd like to say I feel so privileged to be able to join you all today and be involved in such an amazing project like Safe Wards. It really has opened up so many new and exciting opportunities for me. I don't know, I just always had hopes of going to college and university and eventually working in mental health services, and I felt so strongly about that at the time. But that's the sort of time I became unwell and got admitted to an adolescent unit, which became a bit of a barrier, especially when all my rights were taken away. And I guess I felt a bit stuck on what to do, and seeing all the people I went to school with doing what I wanted to do and going to uni and working towards their dream job, I just felt a bit behind. But I've learned now that I need to put myself first and support myself before supporting other people. And actually I can still do what I've always wanted to do, just down a different route. even though I still struggle at times, I can still be involved and help sort of behind the scenes, you could call it, with the staff training and learning how to improve the services, which feels amazing to be able to do. And I've also seen the staff's perspective, which has been so eye-opening, from being really angry from how traumatic and awful my experience of some of the wards were. It's given me a bit of an insight to why maybe that was, and the challenges that they experienced that might have contributed to that. And personally as well, getting people with lived experience, I think, is so important to identify the flaws and the pros and the cons of the system that others might not see themselves, having not been through it. And actually, quite a lot of people I know have had so many unique and exciting ideas which can be used and are really out of the box, and some ideas which people may have never thought of before. And a lot of them don't even require a lot of money, which I know can be quite tricky due to the budget each ward is given. I've learnt and developed so many new skills, like talking and presenting in front of people. If you'd asked me a year ago today what I'd be doing, I never thought I'd be saying I'm being involved in a podcast. It's helped with my confidence and team working skills, as well as learning about all the interventions I found really interesting. I also have the hope of that me promoting recovery could give other people hope that actually things do get easier. You just have to put yourself first. It took me a long time to realise and settle with that, and the fact nobody can choose for you to recover apart from yourself. We're all so important and have so much value in all different ways, and this project has given me something to work towards and a purpose. Some of the work the people with lived experience have brought to Safewards has been absolutely amazing. The work Whitlingham ward, which a patient painted on the walls, is beautiful, and the fact that one of the patients has done it themselves has so much more meaning behind. I know Northgate and Southgate have also had an excellent idea of putting their posters on the back of toilet doors, which is something I had never thought of, but thinking about it now, that probably would be the one place you will notice them and read them. One of the female wards, Waveney ward, have a beautiful painting of a woman near the entrance, which they're using as their discharge messages tree, which is so unique and I think is a really good idea. And then we've got the adolescent ward, the Dragonfly unit, have not only been using their mutual help meetings to discuss plans, events, and positive and hard work regularly, but they involve everyone, not just the staff and the patients, but the kitchen staff, the managers, the doctors, the matrons, as a chance to get together and give a safe space to discuss absolutely anything and everything. And I know a couple of other people have mentioned before, Great Yarmouth and Waveney Acute, their breakfast trolley in the mornings, and it gives a reason for people to get up and book regular news, structure to the day, book their leave times and activities. I think the food involved with that definitely helps a lot. I mean, we all know hospital food isn't always the greatest. It just shows that when everyone comes together, amazing ideas can be thought of, and it's so important that everyone is involved. And it's been so nice to see everyone's so determined and motivated to make a difference to the services. And it feels so heartwarming that people feel the same way as I do about coming together to form such fantastic ideas. I love seeing all the hard work everyone is putting in. And I don't know, it just makes me feel so proud to be a part of this project. I would really love to do ward visits in the future, which is something I'm aiming towards, and I think that would be really beneficial to me, and I'd really enjoy seeing all of your hard work in person. I'm now going to pass you over to Rachel. What are your thoughts on how you have involved the young people on the Dragonfly unit?
Thanks, Holly. That was great. I mean, that really shows us your personal lived experience and having that view and how that can impact us in our Safe Wards promotion throughout all our units. I think it's important really to remember that we're all here for the same reason, and that is to support the improvements of care, treatment experience of people who access our wards. And really, as clinicians, you know, from my perspective, to promote the fact that each person is entitled to a purposeful and meaningful life. To add to that, a very important part for us at Dragonfly is to hear the voices of our young people within our unit. I mean, they are the first-hand experts and they're facing into the realities of our day-to-day living. And I think without their input, we wouldn't have managed to fine-tune and shape the existing interventions and make plans for ongoing developments in a way that really truly resonates with the voices of our young people. We've included the young people in developments on a ward by using our therapeutic group times to bring everyone together. And this has been a fantastic opportunity to promote their creativity and ideas. As Holly mentioned, we've used our mutual help and community meetings as a platform of communicating this information with both the young people and the wider team. And also, I think something me and Amber have really reflected on is using those less formal times, a bit more of the downtime, where you can have those just general conversations with young people, a little less perhaps intense environment. And it really has opened up conversations about their thoughts and feelings on how the ward is running and about any future developments. And I think as a clinician, it's really important to add that collaboration and working with and alongside our service users. It does align wonderfully with the standards and models of working we use as professionals, and it highlights those core values and expectations that we hold ourselves accountable to.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Rachel. You raised some really important points there. Jess, asking you, what do you feel has been the key to success so far?
Oh, Sophie, so many to choose from. I think some of the most important things, as I think quite a few of us have touched on, is the enthusiasm for this across the whole of the staff teams, all of the fantastic people with lived experience that we've kind of had involved in this project, and also kind of thinking about the service users on the wards. Like, everyone wants the wards to be the best environment that they can be so that people can get the best care that they can. So I think enthusiasm is something that's been really, really big. I also think transparency, because we are all humans and there will be times where we don't necessarily get things right first time, but being open and honest and being transparent about kind of the processes and the way that we're going about things, so that we can have that collaboration, has also been really important. And I think valuing the expertise of the individuals, like, part of the reason that having a team is so important is that we all bring different things. And as we said, you know, that's not just like thinking about it as a professional team. We are a Safe Awards team, and that's including everyone within that. So lived experience, kind of the ward staff, the kind of the AHPs, thinking about the doctors, thinking about everyone that is involved, and valuing those bits of information that they've got to bring. Because as we said, we're all working towards having the best environment that we can for the patients that we work with.
That's fantastic, Jess. Thank you. And the enthusiasm, you know, every single time I walk into those in-person sessions, every single time I walk onto the wards and people start talking about safe wards, that's the thing that shines through, that enthusiasm, and it's just amazing. So recently, as a core group and with all the leads, we made the collective decision to extend the collaborative for a further 6 months to ensure that all the interventions are fully implemented and embedded on all of our inpatient wards. And Mike, it really is about safe wards becoming business as usual. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, Safe. I guess, like you say, it's about embedding this as custom and practice for us. So, you know, for me, Safe Wards helps us define really our approach. That's what's really great and beneficial about it. Therefore, it influences everything that we do, not just our approach, but the way that we interact, our language. And therefore, that has a knock-on effect on actually our underlying cultures that we have on our inpatient areas, and therefore our ethos as well. So for me, it's just common sense. It connects with, no matter if you're receiving services or you are providing services, it resonates with us as humans, and because it touches our values, it aligns itself with that. So it is about embedding. And, you know, hopefully what that will mean when it becomes customer practice, we will see that shift. We will see that shift in positive patient outcomes. So we will see actually a sustainability around reduction in incidences, and we hope to see improved service user care and staff satisfaction.
Yeah, and I think in addition to that, Mike, one of the things that I think has bin really key is making sure that this is on board from the get-go. So thinking about kind of from those points of interview to when new staff come into the trust, and that they'll also be provided about information about what Safewards is and kind of why we're taking on this kind of concept in this project. And when they join the organisation, the trust-wide induction day for inpatient staff now includes kind of pieces on Safewards. And as Chelsea said, like having presentations at the away days and making sure that it's from the moment people come into the trust, as well as kind of maintaining that through. And if we think about as well, thinking about the training that we kind of have re-delivered every year, making sure that thinking about the ways that Safewards can kind of also be incorporated onto that. So I recently redid my prevention and management of aggression training, and the PMA staff have worked really hard about kind of thinking about how Safewards fits in with that, and the reducing conflict and containment. And containment, we also said earlier, is another, might also be referred to as restrictive interventions. So as I said, the PMA department have kind of really thought about how their role plays out in this, and are really keen and passionate. So thinking about just changing language, thinking about some of the techniques that might be used, and really emphasizing around that's a last resort and we should do everything else to kind of get there before we get there. Yeah, and so as kind of the trust goes through reviewing policies and procedures as well, making sure that Safewards at the heart of everything that we do.
The future needs to include building a co-produced mechanism of monitoring the continuation of Safewards as we go forwards, making sure that we support everyone and celebrate successes and offer suggestions for improvement.
And I would like to see us as people who have used services going on towards to explore whether Safewards is really embedded, and to offer suggestions for improvement. I would also like to think that Safewards might also have impact on the length of time people stay in hospital.
Lorraine and Francis, what do you think?
I think going forward, we just need to continue to embed kind of what we've already put in place. Like, for example, like we're mirroring like upstairs for like teamwork and like learning across the wards.
Can I just interject there?
Of course you can, of course.
We don't mirror.
Oh, no, sorry. They
mirror.
They mirror us. Yeah, they mirror us. Yeah. So the ward upstairs mirror us, obviously, and it's very important to keep everything together, the whole team working. I think that's really important taking forward. Yeah, Lorraine, do you have anything else?
Well, obviously I've got lots and lots to say, but I think I will just finish on this metaphor.
It's a very good one.
The metaphor is a cake, and each part of the ingredient of the cake is individual and unique. And for anything to be as it was intended, it needs to have a eclectic mix of ingredients. And I think we have that at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Focusing on everyone's strengths.
And Safewards is intended.
Definitely.
That's fantastic, Lorraine and Francis. Thank you. And I love that there's a bit of healthy competition over at Woodlands between Poppy and Avocet, and loving the metaphor. So Jess, can you just tell us, how can we get more information, or how can the people who are listening to this podcast get more information?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have covered so much incredible information in today's podcast, and it's really good to hear everyone's thoughts on and our discussions. But people might have some more questions or comments that they kind of want to give. So if you'd like to kind of be able to do that and to find out a bit more information or how to get involved, we would welcome anyone's kind of input. So whether that is around Safewards Collaborative specifically, or kind of quality improvement as general across the whole of NSFT, you can contact the Quality Improvement team, which is qiteam@nsft.nhs.uk. And as we spoke about earlier, this is part of a wider launch for the model of care across the trust, and the full documents will be available soon. But we want to hear from everyone, whether it's feedback, ideas, innovations, and kind of like ways to help us. So please contact the team, which is moc@nsft.nhs.uk. and that can again be questions, comments, how to kind of become involved. So also stay tuned, because there will be a launch date coming for the model of care across the trust. And for more information around Safewards and the model in general, if you Google the word Safewards, you'll get a direct access to the website, which has got loads of information in different accessible forms as well.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Jess. Loads of places to get information. Please do get in touch, peoples. And before we end the podcast, we have a couple of special things we would like to do. The first comes from Tobias, who has been an integral member of the Safewards QI collaborative team here at NSFT and has become quite famous at the in-person sessions for his incredible poetry. Read by Tobias, the poetry he has produced has really helped us to focus us all on why we are here in our various roles, and to maintain our focus on doing the very best for people who use our services and their carers and supporters. Through his poetry, Tobias gives us with a privileged window into his own experiences of mental ill health and experiencing inpatient care. Tobias wanted to be able to share some of his poetry more widely to increase people's understanding, and we are incredibly grateful. I'll hand over to you to introduce Tobias and read the poem that you have written especially for this podcast.
The door's shut again. I want to be relaxed, but I feel the mental pain. The nurse saying hello. I don't know where I will go. I am full of worry. It's again the same story. I don't know for how long, but I know I need be strong. And together we may get along. We will communicate and we will try open the gate. But not sure when. But I need be good until then. People may help me out. If I be calm and I don't shout. Then try be nice, and sometimes they remind me twice to take the pill, to keep me calm, to keep me still. On my first week, I feel little sick, but second one, it is good fun. The staff let me to go for a run. But I need to come back, because the staff will do the check. The world is safe, but sometimes you need be brave, because sometimes it feels like in cave. It can be dark, but there is always this little spark, the light of hope that will help you to cope. You have meeting once a week, doctor saying you are sick. So another week to stay, all you can do is to pray that you will be free one day.
That is amazing, Tobias. Thank you so much, and thank you for writing that, especially for this podcast. I think that line, this little spark, the light of hope that will help you to cope, will really resonate in my mind, Tobias. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, for the final part of our podcast, we've put together a collage of the voices as people who deliver and use mental health services. Asking each of you, in terms of the Safewards project, what are you most proud of? Starting with you, Chelsea.
I would say that I'm most proud of seeing all of the clinicians across the trust alongside our expert by experience and our current service users coming together, discussing what we're currently doing and overcoming challenges together. It's been really inspirational.
I'm proud of the fact that, staff are working together and everyone's working off the same song sheet, which is lovely.
I'm most proud of the hard work and dedication of both lived experience and staff working together collaboratively, from the Safewards Challenge to on wards to meetings and all the engagement.
I'm most proud of the collaborative working with the young people and seeing their creativity, hearing their voices, and actually really seeing their confidence grow as we try to make sort of a cultural change across the ward.
Yeah, I'm going to reflect exactly the same. It's the collaboration for me that it's strength. This cannot happen without that level of engagement and that collaboration over a sustained period of time. So that's what I'm most proud of.
I am proud that staff and patients can work together to make positive changes for everyone who stays in hospital.
I think I'm really proud of our experts by experience who attend those in-person sessions. So Tracy, Jennifer, who can't be here today, but also Tobias, Holly and Annabelle, who are on this podcast, and our forensic lived experience colleagues as well. Watching those people grow in in their skills, in their knowledge, in their confidence, has just been incredible. And then the same can be said for our staff. You know, watching our staff who may never have presented before, standing up at the front and proudly talking about the work that their ward is doing. I'm incredibly privileged and proud to be part of this project.
I'm proud of the MDT approach and the collaboration around all the interventions.
I'm proud of the amount of people who are and want to be involved and are so motivated and determined to make a difference to the wards.
And I'm proud of being part of the ripples. So thinking about that we're creating positive differences in people's lives, and that won't just stay kind of with this project, that will kind of spread out as well. So whether kind of the staff move on to somewhere else at some point, or thinking about all the patients and service users and families and friends, and that positive ripple will continue to spread out.
Thank you all. And then final word to you, Holly. What are your hopes for the future with Safewards?
I think my hopes for the future for Safewards would be to know the care and treatment people receive continues to improve, so everyone who needs that admission has the most positive and adequately supported experience as possible. And I really hope that these can be used consistently and regularly in the future.
That's amazing. Thank you all, and thank you everybody for listening to the podcast, and we'll speak to you all soon. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to make sure you don't miss a future episode. Let us know what you thought of this episode by reaching out on social media. If you haven't already, listen back to previous episodes to hear some of the best mental health advice for you.